Hi guys, it's nice to see
Hiya.
you again. How are
You
you?
too. Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine. So I have to tell, first of all, I have to tell you that I think this third movie has been my favorite so far. I really, really enjoyed the story this time, and I'm really happy to chat with you about the movie.
I keep swinging back and forth on whether the first one or the fourth one's my favorite, so that's really great to hear.
Yeah, I'm loving this. I feel like it's been my favorite from the moment I watched. I think we watched 3 and 4 back to back. And I remember being like, yeah, 4's my favorite. And I didn't know if I was alone in that, but the more I hear back from people who have seen it, we've been hearing that a lot actually. I think this may be the new favorite, hopefully. So we'll see.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you something because last time we talked for after three, you were saying that Tessa was starting to shutting down a little bit. And of course, in this fourth movie, we see her that she really needs to, like, she reached a turning point. And I wanted to ask you if you can elaborate on how she's feeling in this movie. And I wanted to ask you if you ever had in your life, maybe in relationship or also in friendship, a moment that you really needed to take a stand.
Oh, two good questions. Uh, yeah, I think in After We Fell, she starts shutting down, and I think this movie just continues that. And everything that's thrown her way, it becomes overwhelming and too much, and it does reach a turning point where she's like, I can't do this anymore, and I've got to figure out my stuff and my life, otherwise this isn't a good relationship for the both of them, for Tessa and Harden. I think I've had a lot of little turning points where even in a friendship or something where you're like, something has to change here. Um, I can't think of a big one off the top of my head, though I'm sure there's been one, but it happens a lot. It's just inevitable. I mean, I think so rarely do you set on a path and nothing has to be corrected and everything just works out perfectly. Uh, yeah, so like even with a morning routine, sometimes you're just like, I have to make my bed in the morning and do this, otherwise, and yeah.
Here in the last movie, we saw that he was starting really slowly to change. But I think here, because of what Tessa told him, he really needs to confront his demons for good this time. What do you think is the most challenging things for him?
He's trying, man. I promise he's trying. Like everyone is always like, um, I feel like I feel like that's the kind of one of his biggest arcs is like him overcoming um his demons and I think the thing that makes it so compelling to watch is like he is really trying, and it's like one of those things where if you watch him from the start and you really understand his story, and maybe if you've read the books, you're aware of how difficult it is for him. But it's only kind of like if you've really put in the time to be there with him along the journey, you probably won't understand, you know, how much he's trying. And I think it's quite a common theme with like people who are dealing with addiction and traumas and trying to overcome something is that from the outside it's like, you know, you're not doing it, you're not there yet, but how much he's trying is definitely evident.
I think I really like this movie because it's really dense of like drama and emotional and emotions, and I think you're really, really emotionally generous with your characters. I want to ask you if there is a scene that you did together that I don't know was particularly challenging for the both of you emotionally, and then that maybe you have to talk about it before or after.
Uh, First of all, thank you. And second of all, I think the scene where she's in bed, there's a scene where Harden comes all the way to visit her, and there was just a lot going on there with what she's having a panic attack, but then what he wants is very different. And I think, and with the blocking of the scene, I think just trying to like have those two things fit together, it can be really difficult when you have uh, you know, different like needs in the scene and everything. Um, but that was a really cool one. And then I think there's a moment in the greenhouse which was also really nice.
I agree with what Joe was saying completely, especially about that scene in when Tessa's in bed, like really kind of like grieving, and Harden comes to kind of be there for her, but his idea of what he needs to be for her is kind of from his understanding of what he would need from her. Sorry, yeah, he would need to be there for her. And yeah, I completely agree with what you mean about like getting the dynamic right in terms of like, no, but I would act like this because I would want him to be like this, which means that he wouldn't have to be able to say that line like this, and having to like kind of
Yeah.
work together to find a believable, authentic, coherent kind of storyline and arc for the scene. Sometimes you kind of do have to, you know, work with each other and find that out. And like sometimes the ones that require more work end up being better because you kind of like, you know, found the right medium.
Yeah. One of the themes of the movie is that sometimes love is not enough, no matter how strong the love can be, and you need to, like, letting go is the real sign of love. What did you think about this theme, and did you ever experience something like that in your life?
Totally. I think you put it so well. Letting go can be a really a stronger form of love, because it's about not being selfish, and even though there's something you want, you know that it's not good for you and it's not good for the other person. And I think it's a very mature thing that Harden and Tessa do in this movie, and it's an important step also to realize that like they have a lot of time. There's no rush. They can go and find themselves and do other things, and then if their paths cross, then they cross.
Of course, we thought that there was going to be the end of this journey, but like recently, Hero surprised the fans with this video announcing the fifth installment of this series. So I wanted to ask you, how long have you known this for? It was like a difficult secret to keep. Was it like a Marvel level secret that you didn't talk with anyone about it? And what was your reaction when you knew that you were going to have a fifth movie?
Found out.
A year ago, 6 months ago?
I found out. I think it was around a year. I think you're right. I think it was around a year ago. I think there was like talks about it happening, but we were obviously already supposed to be done. And then it was like trying to make it work, you know, with all the other kind of more boring reasons. And then yeah, I was really excited. And yeah, it was difficult to keep the secret. I'm so glad that we can, you know, be open about it now.
I didn't keep it. I didn't get the memo if it was a secret. No one said anything, thankfully. But
I had a thing with I'm surprised that we managed to keep it such a secret, to be honest. I'm
Yeah,
surprised
with
that
me
we
running my
kind of
mouth.
did
Yeah,
so
and
well.
particularly if Joe didn't know there was a
Tweeting about it
secret.
all the time. No, we did a relatively good job of keeping it a secret, but now it's really nice to know that, you know, everyone else knows, and hopefully they're excited for it, as excited as we are.
You started these movies long time ago, and I was curious if you could go back to Little Hero, Little Joe, when they was starting this process, maybe were deciding if they wanted to get this job, or were starting to shoot the movies. If you can tell them something, maybe an advice, a tip, or also something like that, reassure them about this journey, what you will tell them.
There's pieces of advice I wish I could have given myself starting these films, or I wish someone else had given me. But then I was thinking about this recently, and I think that often it doesn't matter. You have to experience something to really understand it. Like, somebody can tell you, don't go online and don't read negative comments. And you go, yeah, I get it. But you don't fully get it until you do it, and you go, oh, this isn't good because of this reason. So I feel like maybe any advice I had to give myself, it wouldn't have changed anything, because I had to go through the emotions.
I do genuinely agree with Joe. I mean, I feel like I might say act better, be better, do better, make me proud, go out there. But no, I really do believe that what Joe said has a lot of truth. Like, you almost, it's a lot of it is about the journey, and you don't really get to where you want to be if you think, you know, a lot of things you have to learn the hard way. So I think secretly, I wouldn't change a thing even if I could.
Okay, thank you guys for your time. It was really nice
You.
Thank
talking
you.
to you again. Hopefully we'll see each other again for the 5th movie. So.